Hello, my fellow readers. This is our Dark Symphony 777 with another fan fiction review. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the story, and finally, listen to my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of everyone in the world, so please respect that. So, the story I'm doing a review of is called Time Sitch. It is by Pet MW14 and it is a Doctor Who Kim Possible fan fiction. And this was I think the last short story of that big pile that I had to do. Yeah, it was the big pile. I actually wanted to review this earlier, but other stuff happened. Namely, I was shooting dinosaurs. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Shooting dinosaurs is fun. So, Time Sitch. Oh, this is actually a good story. So what is the plot? So the plot actually has to do with the 10th Doctor, David Tennant. I believe that's who he was voiced by. And having to try and keep certain events from happening, but then they had to happen anyway because of time laws. So he decides to be a coward and use the TARDIS to run away. And however, the TARDIS kind of sort of malfunctions and ends up in the Kim Possible world, basically Middleton, where he decides there's a reason I was brought here. Let's try something. Meanwhile, with Kim and Ron, they have to stop Dr. Draken from getting these devices. Draken inadvertently finds this cube in the mission, this weird black cube, and he actually leaves the stuff he was trying to steal alone. It's like, I got what I wanted. Shake out! Dr. D, what'd you take? I got this cube. Yes, I will find out what's in this cube. And then I will stop Kim Possible and the other guy. Ron. Yeah, whatever his name is. So, Ron and Kim, they're just confused over why he stole his cube. Turns out that nobody had any idea what the cube was, that he just showed up one day, and now they're trying to figure it out. They meet this person named Missy, who apparently has a really, really badly gone right there. I accidentally stopped the recording. Where was I? Oh yeah. There is this. Oh yeah, this lady named Missy. She goes by the alias of Miss Dr. Regent, and says she knows all about this information. Doctor Who kind of wants to join along with Kim and Ron. There's a very funny part where Doctor Who, trying to find out what's going on, decides to pretend to be a teacher at Middleton High, the history teacher, and he gets Ron into the Romans and the Greeks and all the history. The history. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm like half asleep right now. The story is good, I promise. The story is good. However, we do eventually find out that Missy is actually a person called the Master, who is actually a Time Lord like the Doctor, and the Doctor is very skittish around him. Basically his toughest opponent and stuff like that. And he thought he killed the Master, but then he came back as Missy, and so Missy's whole plan was use the manipulate Dr. Draken because he's a bozo to use the eye of the Omega stuff and the eye of the Beholder and create a massive paradox. They kind of sucker Kim, Ron, and the Doctor in, and they're all trying to figure things out. And Yoda's there for some reason. Yeah, I don't. That makes no sense. But just me, Yoda just randomly shows up. But we get a really creepy sequence where everyone in Middleton's being hunted by these weird lizard monsters, and Kim's parents die, and Kim's watched the whole thing. She kind of got some mental breakdown, and then they eventually have to decide, well, we have to go back to Draken's lair to see if the device is still there, so we can kind of fix everything. They do. She goes kind of mind possessed sort of thing. They fight. Shigo and Kim fight. And eventually, and a lot of stuff happens. Eventually, that they fix everything. It's Doctor Who stories are honestly really confusing. I hate when this happens. Okay, so where was I at? I had to turn off my Discord for a second. Oh yeah, at the end. I need. Okay. Correct. My mind is not in the right place right now. This is what I get for not reviewing the story when I really should have. Okay, so back to the story. So Doctor, Kim, and Ron, they fix everything. Everything goes back to normal, and the Doctor basically shows them the TARDIS, and they do the whole running gag of, oh, it's bigger on the inside, sort of deal. And Doctor, he leaves them behind, and he leaves. It's fine. And then we got like a weird thing where Missy turned out to work for Darkseid and like a multi-dimensional galaxy level chess match with Professor Xavier of all people. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I honestly no idea. But when it comes to the core thing of the core this yawning is like muddling my brain. But when it comes to the main bulk of the story, the story itself is actually really well done. It has a valid point of the idea of sacrifice, and even to the point where Kim, after watching her family die, she's like she doesn't know how to function because she, in all her times as a crime fighter, she's like, well, the villains we've fought never actually killed people before, which is actually true. At best, you had Monkey Fist who wanted to kill Ron, but he never really was able to go through with it. But for the most part, none of the villains really actually took that narrow step, and so having someone just casually just go and just shoot one of Draken's minions in the head, it just without blinking an eye, just completely just melts Kim Possible's mind. Because that's what happened. It's like, oh, I'm gonna show. Oh, you're just like every other villain. Oh, am I? Minion, come here. What? You killed him. So I'm a bad guy. That's what I do. And it's actually well done on the whole idea of trauma, of like Kim trying to rationalize it, and Ron actually kind of had to pull her out from like Kim. Kim was actually willing to let herself die. Like when she watches her family die, she's like she breaks down so much in that one moment. She's like she's okay with them just killing her, and then Ron has to like drag her. It's like no, you gotta think about it. You gotta save them, and that kind of had jumpstart her brain, and it's actually really well done. Same thing with the characters. There's only really like 3 characters: Ron, Kim, and the Doctor. Draken and Shigo are there for most of the story, but they're like kind of side characters, kind of. But everyone has done well. From Kim, being very hesitant of trusting the Doctor because why would a random substitute teacher know all this stuff and be teaching these classes and want to join them on adventures? Like, I don't trust you. And Ron, who's also kind of trusting is like, hey, this guy's teaching me a lot of new stuff. But it's like he sees that he's joining on Kim Possible, like, I don't know. and the Doctor who's so stubbornly trying to keep Ron and Kim separate from him, not wanting to be like join him on an adventure because of what happened at the beginning of the story with everyone like having these stable time loops and stuff like that. It's really interesting stuff. The grammar is done really well. Despite it only being about 86,000 words, it's actually really fast paced, and it actually kind of works in this case. In this story's case, it's only really slow in like the first couple of chapters, just to set up everything that happens, and then once I would say right around chapter 7, chapter 8 happens, then it picks up and just never stops. And it's really well handled. The plot, like I said, the plot is really good. I would talk about this more, but honestly, there's not much to talk about, mainly because a lot of the nitty gritty stuff is like rooted in Doctor Who related stuff, and I'm just not familiar in the specifics of Doctor Who to kind of comment on like the very minor stuff that kind of interwebs through the entire idea. Like, Doctor Who once he hears the four bells and he dies and he becomes the 11th Doctor. That I do know. With the whole reincarnation, there's a chapter where the Doctor basically tells his life story as much as he wants to Kim and Ron. There's the ending. There's a whole sequel hook for the fact that Professor Xavier basically tells Darkseid to his face, like, yeah, they're going to be involved, whether you want to or not. But they're going to be... But sooner or later, Doctor has to meet up with them again. So there's a lot of moving pieces. It's very... I guess that kind of works in the fact that the story is kind of vague for the most part, because I think it's trying to set up the sequel, because there is a sequel, but I think the sequel is a dead story. Let me actually check. Yeah, it's it's dead. It's dead. So it makes sense why there is also the sense of vagueness to parts of the story, because it's mainly in reserves to Missy, i.e. the Master. So it kind of makes sense. But yeah, moving on. Would I recommend this story? I would. I think the story is actually pretty good. Favorite part? The Yoda part. I'm sorry. That was it was so unexpected. So, okay. So I have to actually go to the chapter. Right here. Chapter 14. So, to put it into context, the Master did like some kind of massive guilt trip on the Doctor when she combined the cube with the Eye of the Beholder and basically warped everything. Kim and Ron ended up in the crazy Milton, but the Doctor ended up in this white void where all the people that he saved, all the people that were his companions over the course of like all his other Doctors, were like kind of condemning him and stuff like that. And he's trying to not handle it, and then he blanks out, and he wakes up, and everything's alone, and all he sees is Yoda about 20 feet in front of him. And Yoda offers him to take a seat. Take a seat, you will. Yes. The Force, I can sense. Yes, I'm Yoda. And it's basically just Yoda offering the Doctor life advice. I know. It's literally just like a small part of a chapter that just basically boils down to like, take my advice. You will take. Yes, light and dark. Cookies. Make your temperature 450. Dummy think Ashoka is. I couldn't resist. Doing the joke. No, the noises. I wish the sports existed so I don't have to be alive anymore and be offer more wisdom. Yogurt, my cousin, where are you? I'm sorry. It's just a surreal image of like Doctor Who getting Life advice from Yoda, of all people. Just, it's insane. It's hilarious. But I can't help but love it. And there's actually a lot of uh, really clever lines related to it, like when this is Yoda after he dies, so it's like he's a Force ghost, so it's like to try or not to try. That is the question. And Doctor talked about like I don't want people to die. It's like well, people will always die, but you must remember, death means nothing if everyone dies. I know this is not exactly what he says, but just bear with me. But what if people? But it doesn't matter what I do. It's people are gonna die. It's like, but you must realize, Doctor. Even if one or two people die, is that not worth it? And they're willing to take that sacrifice. Is that not worth saving the lives of thousands upon thousands of people? I never thought of it like that. Cookie? Oh, thank you. Are you a ghost? You're a ghost can eat cookies. Bear with me. Listen to my advice. Go home. Go home. You see those? You see that girl and boy? They're willing to sacrifice themselves. They're willing to help you. Go with them. Have them join you. And together you can save the day. Yeah, that's it. I can't really I can't really know what to say would be what to do to change it because it's so the story is kind of like really set up on setting up a sequel, and the sequel's dead, so it's like, what do I do to fix it? I think I guess if you wanted to just kind of make it more finale, more sense of finale, just get rid of the epilogue. Then I don't know. It's so hard to like figure out what to do in regards to like a story that's specifically meant to set up a sequel, but the sequel did. So I said to you, this video ends. It will. Listen to Yoda, and also appreciate some Twilight hugs. You once you get hugs from blue chicks, you never go back.